Hey everybody, welcome to Around Cranberry Township. I'm Dr. Bulow with Revive Upper Cervical Chiropractic. That's my business, but today I'm hanging out with Corrine, who's running the True Rest Float Spa here in Wexford. So thanks for hanging out today.
Hey, no problem.
Yeah. So I've been meaning to get out here for a while. My wife is currently in a session, and because there are so many cool benefits to floating. And what is the term? Is it floating? Is it isolation tanks? Is it sleep deprivation? Not sleep deprivation, sensory deprivation tanks? What are the different terminologies around what True Rest Float Spa does?
Most people find it as the deprivation. We just call it float therapy.
Got it. Float therapy. That
Yes.
sounds so much nicer. So
Float
much
therapy.
Float
We don't
therapy.
want you to be deprived of that.
That's right. Yeah. But the idea of float therapy, why don't you describe it? How would you explain it to someone?
Well, normally we say it is you float in a pod, which is filled with 10 inches of water with over 1,000 pounds of Epsom salts.
1,000 pounds of Epsom salts. It's not like that small little bag at CVS. It's like
No, it's about 50-pound bags.
yeah, 1,000 pounds.
We've got
total.
about 2,000 extra in the back right now.
Wow.
But you're going to float in there for an hour. You get the full hour in there. And it's going to help your mind and body pretty much give you a reboot.
Yeah.
It's going to relax your body, relax your muscles, increases circulation, helps with insomnia, anxiety, and depression.
Yeah. One of the things we always tell people is, from a chiropractic standpoint, is that gravity is the one stress that never goes away, right? Is that it's there from the day you're born. It's always pulling on your body. People who have spinal misalignment can be really affected by gravity in a lot of terrible ways. You know, neck, shoulder, back, hip pain.
As I slouch.
That's right. And watch our slouching here. But here's an opportunity where you're essentially weightless. It's probably as close as you can get to weightlessness, because your body is literally floating on this very thick water, we'll say, right? Epsom salts create an environment where the weight of the water is heavier than the weight of the water in your body. I mean, it's kind of, right?
The buoyancy in the over 1,000 pounds is what gives you that ability to float.
Yeah. So normally when you're in a tank of water, you have to hold your breath to float. Here you can just...
You just let go.
You just let go, and you don't sink.
Nope.
That's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
And so it seems pretty obvious that that would be great if you have joint problems, muscle problems, things like that. Just totally relaxes you. The magnesium in the Epsom salts helps to therapeutically affect swelling and inflammation and things like that. But what about the mental aspect? Because how did this get started? I think that's an interesting thing, you know, in terms of where it came from. And what is that sensory deprivation? Deprivation sounds like a scary term, but where did that come from and why is it important?
The founders are Nick and Holly. Their very first True Rest opened in 2010 out in Scottsdale, Arizona.
Got it.
They got into it. They heard about Joe Rogan.
Gotcha. Oh, like podcaster Joe
Yes,
Rogan.
the podcaster Joe Rogan.
That goes deeper than these two people, but let's just keep going.
Right. So they got into it for pretty much that state of mind where you just let go. Just relax and clear your mind.
Yeah. But it goes back even to the founder. Who was the guy way back when? We saw it in the video there.
Yes.
There was a guy, a meditative, kind of a yogi almost, I think, anyhow.
I'm sorry, I forget his actual name.
But this was developed a little while back, and the idea was...
Right, back in the 50s, I think it started coming.
Yeah, we'll put it in the description. We'll find out the name, we'll put it in there. But basically, you know, when we look at mindfulness and meditation, you know, clearing your mind and things like that, when people get into a deep meditative state, it's the ability to turn off, so to speak, all of those senses. What's your brain thinking? What's the clock ticking on the wall? That's why you focus on your breath, you know?
Right.
And so what I've heard is that these flotation tanks enable you to get to that state a lot faster.
It does. It gets you to that theta brainwave state.
Yeah.
Where it shuts you off. Some people have hallucinated more farther into down the road of, like, I don't know.
Deep meditation.
Deep
and
meditation. The more floats you get. So they say the lucky number is 3. So if you kind of can't shut your brain off the first time, it's kind of what to expect. Because you're going in there, you're not sure what to expect.
Sure.
So they always say, give another try.
Gotcha. Oh, of course. It's so So we've kind of like talked a little bit about what it is. So with that said, who are the most common or the best clients that for something like this? I mean, obviously, again, when you're in the wellness spaces, it's kind of like anybody, right? I mean, I could say anybody with a spine and a heartbeat should be under good chiropractic care. But that being said, there are certain types of people that really gain a ton of benefit, and that we see time and time again. For you guys, is there a similar sort of phenomenon? Like, are there certain types of people or age ranges or walks of life or conditions, or, you know what I mean? Who's the most common
really
person?
Anything. We've ranged from the age of 14 to over 70.
Yeah.
So it just really depends, like, what you're coming in for. We have some with disorders, pain, insomnia, like everything like that. So it just really depends.
Insomnia seems like a pretty almost obvious but not so obvious one, because if people aren't getting that rest, you know what I mean, at night, and it's almost like you need that now it's becoming seriously like a therapy. Like your body needs rest. So if someone, I'm guessing, has anxiety or insomnia or sleep deprivation, that this would help out with that. And that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and that's what first got me into it was my insomnia. Because I wasn't sleeping very well and my headaches. Yeah. So once I started floating on a regular basis, it calmed it down and helps me sleep a lot better at night.
That's really cool. So even though you're resting here during the day, it's affected in a positive way your ability to rest later on at night.
Correct.
Very cool. Very, very cool.
We call that a little cat nap.
Okay, that's right.
Just literally like a little cat nap. Absolutely. It may take you a few to settle in the first time. Yeah. But you still have that 45 minutes or so that.
Yep. I think that's wonderful. Now, I'll pose a question to you. I know that Corrine works for the owners. They're busy. I was going to give you a little hard time, the owners, but they're opening a whole other float, True Rest float location down the South Hills.
Correct.
Is that right?
Yes.
So Corrine was nice enough to cover. So this is a question I usually pose to the owners, but I'm going to pose to you today, and that is that, what do you enjoy about the work that you do? Like, we can talk about the work that we do, like, it's this thing that we hold and whatever, but but what keeps us coming back to it? You know what I mean?
Right.
Because I think a lot of times, especially when you're an owner of a business, it's a lot of work. But even when you're helping manage or run, it's still a lot of work. You know what I mean? And at some point, it's beyond the salary or the pay, and there's just these cool aspects of the work that we do. And I think that gives us, as a community, an inside scoop into the deeper benefits of a product or a service, So what do you like about it? What do you like about working here and, that sort of thing?
I love the atmosphere.
Yeah.
I love seeing people come in there before and after.
Yeah, so give us some examples.
So we've had one lady come in who, I would say, PTSD, all of that.
Yeah.
Comes in, floats all the time, and you could see right afterwards that her mood is completely better, changed. Even we've had a few older women come in, and you could tell they're slunched over, pain in their knees, and they get out of that pod, and you can just see the happiness on their face because their pain is gone.
That's cool. That's
so
very cool.
Being able to interact with everyone and seeing how happy they are after floating.
That's super cool. And I remember I referred someone to an office in another state, because we'll get phone calls from people out of state that'll find videos on concussion or something like that. And while I'm honored, I kind of say, you know what, you need follow-up. Just like float. You need that follow-up. And you could come all the way to see me, but let me find you someone local, And I'll never forget this one time I referred someone to a practitioner, and the practitioner called me back to give me an update. They said they came in, they did phenomenal, their migraines are gone, or whatever it may be, and I felt good. Like, it wasn't even my patient, but just the fact that I was part of that journey, I was like, that's really cool, you know what I mean?
Right.
So, because sometimes when you're in it for a while, you start to lose, it desensitizes you. Funny as we're talking about that. But it is. It's such a cool thing, and I think it's an awesome thing when it comes to specifically wellness-based businesses. But even then, I've interviewed real estate agents that get a real kick out of handing over the keys to someone's home for the first time, and how the home is like a memory, like a framing for your memories and stuff. And there's just cool things all around. So I think that's really cool, and I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you the last word in just a second. But first, I'm going to say something I forgot to say at the beginning of the video, which is, look, thanks for watching. Ask questions if you haven't asked them already. Please ask questions, and I'm sure Corrine can come online later on and answer your questions. Please share the video. You'd never know who could use something like this therapeutically. Maybe they don't tell you that they're dealing with anxiety or insomnia, but they would see this video that you shared and be like, oh gosh, I need to go do that. And then you can be that person we just talked about, making a difference in someone's life, right?
Right.
I mean, that's kind of the big picture here. But thank you otherwise for watching and engaging. And if you know of a business or a service professional that I should talk to, let me know that too. So with that said, we're going to give Corrine the last word. So anything you'd want to say to the community that's around and that's watching and hanging out with us today?
Come on down, try us out.
Yeah.
It's first time, maybe 2 hours out of your time. I promise you will not regret it.
That's right. She's convicted on that one.
You will. You'll feel more relaxed, I promise.
That's cool.
Your pain will be gone.
That's very, very cool.
It'll help you a lot.
That's exciting. How can you say no to that? Thank you, Corrine.
You're very welcome. Nice to have you.
Yeah. And thanks again, guys. We'll see you around.
See you later.
Bye-bye.